everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Hashtag Anime Taught Me. My name is Jenna O'Malley. I am your soul writer, author of sci-fi fantasy with dashes of romance and nerdy references. Alongside the raw stories my characters weave throughout time and space, I help other soul bards get back to creating what they love to do most, worlds that people can heal in. And we're going to go ahead today and look at worlds that kind of help some of us heal while growing up, maybe. Worlds that we love, worlds that we adore, worlds that taught us so much about writing at a young age, and we probably don't even realize it. Anime, specifically Japanese anime mindsets. But today we're going to specifically go ahead and look at 5 things that Hashtag Anime taught me about writing relationships and friendships. If you want to join us, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome on back, everybody. I am so excited to be doing this with you. I'm not just the only creator doing this here on YouTube. There are other authors and creators who are partaking in the Hashtag Anime Taught Me collaboration. If you want to find out more about it, go ahead and check the description box for the playlist and the What is Hashtag Anime Taught Me video. There's going to be several of us looking at the 5 things that we learned about writing or creating blank simply by growing up watching anime. I know for me, anime had a huge impact on the way I create my stories. And I didn't really realize it until recently when I was going through the rebrand relaunch revolution for the Myrna Annals, and I imagine such is true for many other creators too. Today we're, as I said, going to go ahead and look at the 5 things that Hashtag Anime taught me about writing relationships and friendships. Now, mind you, I tend to write, like I said at the very beginning, sci-fi fantasy, some romance, the magic, the dark, if it could be found in D&D, or if it could be found in Vampire the Masquerade, or George R.R. Martin's, or J.R. Ward's, or J.R.R. Tolkien type settings. It probably has something similar or a cousin of in my book, basically. And therefore, I do think that a lot of the relationships and the friendship things carry over to different genres. So some of what I will have to say may be genre specific. Some of what I will have to say probably will apply universally across most fiction. Notice I said most fiction. Number 1, relationships are just more than romance. Here in the US particularly, I think when we say the word I'm in a relationship with somebody, we always assume that's a romantic one, and that might not always be true in all cultures because relationships can be far more dynamic than that, meaning that you can be in a really good love level of friendship with someone, but you're totally not dating. I mean, I have adopted siblings, you get what I mean. Not all the time did I adopt them. Some of the time they adopted me. So when you really truly think about it, there's a lot about friendship dynamics in anime that you can apply to your own books. I grew up watching shows where there was usually a team dynamic. I'm citing specifically Yorohiden Samurai Troopers, or as we know it here in the States, Ronin Warriors. Of course, Sailor Moon is all about team dynamics and friendships and not necessarily the romances that are kind of central to the plot as like crux points and nothing more. I also grew up watching shows like Gundam Wing where different facets of different pairings within a larger group are explored, i.e. you get a good intermix of not always did Hiro just hang out with Duo. He got some time with each of the guys and they all formed friendships in pairs and trios, sometimes without other people completely being even present. You don't always see that in all novels with all secondary characters. One, because depending on the length of your piece, you don't have the time nor the point of view headspace to spare. But pulling on those strings when we need them can help keep conflict driven in every single scene. Some of the strongest written books have some sort of minute element of conflict, even if it's just for that episodic moment, woven into every single scene. And that's where those friendships can really come into play. It's realistic to have those dynamic relationships because humans sometimes can have a lot of friends or a teeny tiny circle. What audience do you want to be relating to then becomes the question there. Number 2, when in doubt, humor helps. We all know we have that one friend we can go to make us laugh when we need to laugh. Humor helps. You always need a character who is like Kurabara from Yu Yu Hakusho, like Joe Nucci / Joey Wheeler from Yu-Gi-Oh! They are simply there to keep you guessing when the next laugh is going to show up. I cited the stereotypical rough around the edges teen who's the class clown type for a reason. It shows up in a lot of anime and is true across cultures to have that kind of character trope. It kind of applies, and I taught K-12. I taught Yusuke. And I taught Kurabara, sadly in the same class. I'm so glad I never taught a Hiei though. I don't want to teach a Hiei. Anyway, number 3, when you think about the arguments that your characters start having as being too outlandish, double dog, nay, triple dog dare levels could apply here. If you know the movie A Christmas Story, how, friends throw you curveballs when you last second imagine it, that happens all the time in anime. Some of the greatest plot twists in anime happen because the secondary or tertiary characters chose to do something without telling either A, the main character, and therefore not telling you, the creator / reporter / bard / author. Book 2, Bound by Oath and Heart. His name is Frey. His work here is done. Number 4, friendship bonds matter more than romance ones, to the degree that it affects the romance. So number 1 is being brought back here to number 4 in a romantic way for a reason, because number 5 will make more sense. So in a romantic way, you have a lot of stereotypical, enemies to lovers, Ian and Neftiri type relationships where they hate each other because they're told to, but they start growing together over time just by facet of they agreed to take the person as an individual and not a whole. Now, mind you, that explores a little bit more maybe so of the Japanese mindset, whereas they might be more the village helps the village and we're more I help myself here in the States. Bump heads. I don't know if that's a cultural concept that we are learning as Americans through anime. And therefore, are we more sensitive to it? I do also think that in anime, a lot of the times, they really focus on the progression of a relationship and whether or not, if there is romance involved, how much up to that point needs sacrificed for the sake of changing to the next level. And characters will straight out have conversations with each other on screen that are conflicting, that are awkward, that are uneasy. But you don't always see that in American media. And I think it's really nice for those of us who pick up on that undertone to pull on it when we can and reintroduce it so other people in our culture can see it from a different perspective. Yes, this is why if you watched the short that came out the other day, Ian looks like he could unalive you, but is actually a cinnamon roll on the inside. Number 5, and our last one, the enticement to help each other grow, regardless of whether you're a friend, a frenemy, a best friend turned arch nemesis, a lover, a mom, a dad, a cousin, regardless of the relationship dynamic in anime, I learned that what matters is kind of relating a little bit back to number 4, the overall growth to be your best self. It's not just about what's best for the couple. A lot of the conversations that are had about friendships, about siblинghoods and parenthood in anime are reflections of what can I do to see not just us do well, but you do well. It's kind of like we're competing against each other, but for the greater whole of everyone involved. And I think in a lot of other cultures, saying this as an American, that better for all involved gets lost. And the competition takes precedent a lot of the time in our own fiction-based consumable media. And as a writer, I like to show more of a balance of, no, there's another way to build relationships here. And it could be more effective, maybe not just for the development of your character arc, but also for the development of your plot, but maybe it's also what your reader needs to read to help them through what they're going through at the time that they're reading the fiction, because why else would they read fiction, right? Well, one of the reasons, right? So if you have any other questions on this topic, or you have any thoughts of your own, please go ahead and leave them in the comment box below. And if you want to go ahead and join in, we will be making these videos all the way until the end of February 2024. I will be adding on to the playlist, and there's going to be a live Q&A featuring all of us who collaborated on this in March, once all of the videos are done and you all have had some time to enjoy the playlist as a whole. Above all, take care of yourself. I know you're worth it. I look forward to talking with you in the next one. Bye! Oh, guess what? Book 3 Kickstarter video and Vovry's character video later this week for Kickstarter. See you soon!